Okay, good evening, everyone. We're continuing our series, questions and answers. Last Tuesday, to refresh your memory, if you remember, we spoke about, not necessarily here actually, because I'm doing it in different places. We spoke about reporting someone who works in a place and is not keeping the is not doing what he's supposed to do as a worker, is not clean enough, or someone who's a supervisor from the city that he comes to inspect the place, speaking about returning lost objects if it's not a kosher device, and different kinds of things like that. Now, we're going to speak, also we spoke about if I'm a worker in a business and an illegal immigrants that smuggled into Israel, they smuggled from Sudan to Israel, if he's allowed to tell them that he's not giving them service because they're in a country illegally. Today we'll speak about some other things. First thing I would like to start with is sometimes people receive money for transportation from their work. The work pays them for the buses or for the train. Now, I don't know how much a train costs, but it adds up. If a person receives 5 days a week, it's 20 times a month. Let's say it's $5. It could be $100 every month. However, sometimes a person wants to work on his shape, to do some exercise. So you say, you know what, instead of taking the train, I walk 20 minutes. With the train, it's 2 minutes. But I walk. And I'll keep the money in my pocket. Is it possible to take the money, because you're entitled for transportation, and you walk and keep the money for yourself? Or the only way you're allowed to take the money if it's used for transportation? If you didn't use transportation, then your boss doesn't have to give you the money. This is a very common question. I heard this question more than 50 times over the years from different people, that they get things from their work, but they not necessarily always use it. So the question is, can they keep the leftover, or they can keep the money and do something else, or if they get a ride once in a while, or they have to deduct it from the money and tell them, you know, those few days I did not actually use the train, so give me 90 instead of 100. Or whatever they give them, since the work agreed to give you what you deserve to arrive to work, the rest is none of their business, what you do with the money. What do you think? It's a good point, no?
It depends on agreement with your work. If they're telling you this is a part of the contract, we're giving it to you, and we don't care how much it costs you, this is your part, that's it. But if they're telling you we're giving it to you per trip, per day, when you come, and you have to do it, then you must return the money. If it was like a part of the contract.
Exactly. This is exactly the answer. If they pay you per date, this is for this day, August 12. This one for August 13. This one, then obviously he gives you for something that you actually did not. But if he already, there's a general agreement that when he hires you, you tell him, I need the business, the company to pay for my transportation. And they they agree together how much is the monthly transportation, and they come to a number. Obviously, the boss knows that sometimes he will be sick, sometimes he won't come, but he gives it to him as a part of the salary, there's no problem. But if he pays him individually, you know, every day, he has to, how much it costs you the cab today, the next day, how much you pay today, then you cannot say anything because he didn't use the cab. Some people, to be safe, they say to their boss, this is a general payment, and if I don't come or here and there, you'll forgive the differences. There will be some differences. And the company already take it as a part of the expense, and then it's permitted. Next thing is, are we allowed to take a tree that has fruit out of the ground? If it had roots and the roots goes into the ground, are we allowed to take it out? Let's say we bought a lot, we want to build a home there. There's tons of trees, and the tractors come to take the trees out, and right in the middle they found an apple tree. It's a very common problem today. They have a tree. And now what are you going to do? You're not going to be able to build your house, because the Torah says you don't take fruit tree out. But it's in the middle of if it's on the side, you keep it. But if it's in the middle, that's it. It's like the whole lot is worthless now. There's nothing you can do with that. What do you do in a case like this? The answer is you call a goy, and the goy take it out with the ground. It goes very, very deep, picks it up with a tractor, and you plant it somewhere else. If lived after that, fine. If not, if he dies, no problem. As long as the goy does it, you're allowed to do it. Better before you buy a lot, if you can go and check, because sometimes it can be lots of trees. Then it's become a real serious problem. I heard that in Borough Park they have a shul, that in the middle of the shul there's a tree, fruit tree. In the middle of the shul they made like a little circle, and in the middle, you come in the middle of the shul, you see a tree there. Why? Because when they started to build it, they found that tree. They didn't want to use this heter to call a goy to take it out. They decided to build the shul and leaving the tree inside the building. That's very nice. It's nice chumrah. But the question is, what an ignorant Jew that comes into a shul for the first time, or a non-Jew who comes to work there to take care of the electric or whatever, and he see that the Jews have a tree in the middle of the shul, what he may think? Asherah. Maybe the Jews worship trees also, like it used to be in the old days. So it could be maritime. I guess among the religious people there's no question. But the question is if someone who doesn't know may come, may get the wrong impression, I don't know. The next question is, I'm full already in a meal. They serve me the food. I ate whatever I can, and half of the plate is there now. And we all know there is a rule in the Torah not to waste. The rule not to waste. Things that can be reserved and can be reused, there's an obligation to reserve and to reuse it. The question is, what happens if I cannot take it with me? Let's say I'm not going home. I won't have a refrigerator until tomorrow. Take it. It's basically, anyway, it's going to smell and go to the garbage anyway. And in a restaurant, they throw it to the garbage. Or even if you took from home sandwiches, you ate as much as you can, and now you have a dinner meeting with someone, which you're supposed to sit there and eat. What are you going to do with the leftover? You throw it to the garbage, or you have to force yourself to eat, just not to violate the rules of Bal Tashchit. What do you think the case in that case is? The answer is, if there is no other way, a person is allowed to put it in a garbage. Why? Because Bal Tashchit of the body comes before Bal Tashchit of the food. When a person stuffed his stomach more than he has room, it's hurting his health, for sure. Most sicknesses, the Rambam says, and others, comes because of too much eating. And you can see that overweight people, they have much more diseases than other people in general. Of course, there's an exception to the rule. They have all kinds of problems with sugar, heart attack, high cholesterol, fatigue, their knees hurts, their legs hurts, their veins, all kinds of things that apparently it's because of being overweight. As soon as the person loses weight, he right away begins to feel relief. Even on his sicknesses, he already feels better. Right? So in that case, Bal Tashchit of the body actually comes before the Bal Tashchit of the food or other things around. Next question. Kids in Israel, in America, Baruch Hashem, we have plenty of water. So nobody really cares how long you take a shower. But in Israel, because there's not enough water, they advertise on television for people not to wash their cars with water, and everyone has to fill for the water and reserve as much as they can because the country doesn't have enough water. The Kinneret in Tiberias, the lake of the Kinneret, is below the red line, the emergency line. So obviously, that's one source of water for the entire country of Israel. So the more people waste, that's why the Israelis invented the bathrooms that you have two different switches, one for long, one for short. Why? I'm sure you saw it in some of the restaurants here. Why? To save water. In reality, who cares if it stays another 5 seconds water? There's plenty of water in New York. But New York, it's New York, and Israel is a different place. But the question now, right now, when the kids have water guns, you know water guns? They fill up the water guns, water guns, and they shoot around and they waste water. Is this a violation that the parents has to stop them from doing? Or let's not exaggerate? Because remember, it adds up. You have 1 million kids. If 10% of them will do it, then it can be 100,000 people who waste water on a daily basis. It adds up to a lot. The question is this a violation? The answer, no. Why? It's good for the health of the children, mental health. It's necessary. It's not bal tashchit. Bal tashchit is only when there is nothing productive about doing it. In other words, you do it, you waste money, and you gain nothing. That's become a bal tashchit. You're burning your money. But if you have any kind of gain from it, the gain already justified the expense. Therefore, over here, what are you going to do? Lock the kids in a room all day? You have to do something. Part of their growing up is running around and shooting with water. What do you want them to shoot? Some places they shoot with other things. At least these kids, they want to shoot with water. So the answer is, it's not bal tashchit. Next thing, in the camp, they make arts and craft. So they use spaghettis to do all kinds of chains and things, and then this goes to the garbage, food. Or they use flour, they do all kinds of things. Is this considered bal tashchit, that you ended up throwing the food to the garbage? Or it's also a necessary thing? What do you mean necessary? You can find other things, this is not food. So the answer is, if it has a need, just like I said before, it's not considered bal tashchit. Next question. Cats are coming into my kitchen and steal food. A person who lives in a private home, and as soon as the door is open, right away, either the squirrels, or in here it's the squirrels usually, but in Israel it's the cats. You come home, you see the cat on the table in a kitchen. It's a very common thing. So they steal money. They steal food. So the question is, now, am I allowed to put poison in the food once or twice that they die, they get the point not to bother me anymore? Or I have to live in a constant battle with them for the rest of my life?
You can just do other measurements preventing them to take your food, but you're not allowed to poison.
They asked Rav Eliashiv this question, and Rav Eliashiv said, not allowed to kill them. You have to do other things to prevent them from coming in. Next thing is, neighbors are leaving their dog loose. And everybody in the neighborhood, what happened to the AC? Shut it.
You want AC?
Okay. The Russians supposed to like cold weather. Okay, so the next question is, the neighbor keep the dog loose, and everybody around the neighborhood is afraid of that dog. They're afraid to let the kids out. They themselves afraid of the dog. Speaking to the neighbor did not help. He doesn't care about people. He wants his dog to walk around. The question is, are we allowed to put poison in a food in a neighborhood for this dog to eat and he dies? Because over here it's already danger. The cat wasn't danger, it was inconvenience. You have to throw a lot of food to the garbage because of the cat. The cat licked the cheese, you have to get rid of the cheese. Or he makes all kinds of dirt in a neighborhood, in a kitchen. But the dog is already, could be a risk. Maybe not a life risk, but just to become wounded from an animal that is dangerous is also a risk. The question is, if the neighbor doesn't care about his dog, we'll teach him a lesson. or put poison, the dog will eat it, and the dog will die, and he gets the point. And the next dog that he buys, or put him on a leash. What's the answer?
No way. You cannot put the poison.
Just because the owner is a fool, why the dog has to suffer? Sar ba'alei chaim. What do you have to do? You have to take the neighbor to din Torah. You call him to court. And the court take actions against him if he refuses to do what the neighborhood wants. But you cannot do anything to the actual dog. Are we allowed to feed our snake? We have a snake in the aquarium. Some people love snake. I don't understand how it's possible, but people love snake. And they put them in big aquariums in their homes. And what do they feed them with?
Rat.
Mice, rat. They throw them and they swallow them like that. So the question is that allowed or it's cruelty? Take the actual rat alive and throw it into the mouth of the snake. Good point, no?
Allowed it to animal.
It's pure execution.
Yeah, but you have to.
If you catch these mice in your house, if you catch these mice in your house, then you can do it. If you bought the mice somewhere else, which was a white mice somewhere else, then it's cruel, then you cannot do it.
The answer is it's allowed because Hashem made the world that the food of the snake is mice. And nature looks cruel. What can you do? This is a chain. Everyone eats everyone. It's a chain. We're not doing anything other than the laws of the Creator.
Rabbi, I was thinking about the answer, but you know what is the question then?
Yeah.
In a war, the snake must hunt, if you can call it hunting, sorry, and catch these mice.
Yeah.
But yes, and the mice in a wolf has a chance to escape, right?
Right.
You giving no chance to the mice. You're taking the mice and putting it in the wolf.
Very good point. You have a good point. But let me ask you a question. Does it make a difference if the snake caught him or we caught the mice? Does it make a difference who caught the mice?
By doing so,
If he gets caught, he gets killed. That's it.
So you're interfering with the laws of nature.
No, the opposite. By putting the snake in an aquarium, you're actually helping the mice to get saved. So now you just balance what you ruined.
No.
I told you, 95% it's not enough. Remember? Almost perfect is zero.
Because I don't know who is here 95. The mice had a chance to escape.
Who convinced you more, him or me?
Of course.
But don't say me because I have a yarmulke.
A biased witnesses you're talking about. People who came to listen to Rabbi. What are you going to say convince them?
All right.
You would say too.
Since they don't answer, I suspect maybe they take your side.
Now you totally get the bias.
All right.
Okay.
Permission to kill snakes.
If you left the snakes in nature, they would eat those mice anyway. Now the fact you took them from nature and put them inside your home, you have to bring the mice from the jungle into your home as well.
Rabbi, we all want to die in this world. So if I kill somebody tomorrow, I just going to do the same thing Hashem would do to him anyway in 50 years. What's the big deal? It's the same idea.
All right.
It's the same question.
Next question. Shh. Are we allowed to do experiments on animals?
Yes, we are.
Which obviously involve with torturing them. By doing shots, cutting parts, injecting things, making implants, cutting parts out of their body, giving them food that may be poison after a while, and we see if it caused them cancer, or things like that.
If it's for the purpose of the research,
The answer is everything that will bring benefits from animal to human being is allowed from the Torah. But if it does not, then there is a serious violation of torturing animals or killing them for no reason. Even insects. You're only allowed to kill them based on what the Gemara says if they violate your life, privacy, danger, and also if they cause you financial damage, or if they make your life miserable, they don't give you peace of mind because they're around and they disturb you nonstop. Things like that, then you have permission to take actions against them. But if they did not disturb you, Just killing them. For instance, if a bee comes into your home, there are two options. One is to kill it, one is to chase it out. What's so hard? You hit it with a towel, it goes out of the window and finished. Why have to kill it? If there's no other way, it's a different story. So those things, we're not doing it because we enjoy torturing the animals. No. We are doing it to the animals because once we're going to come out with medicine based on this research that we do on that monkey or on this mouse or whatever that we use, it may save the life of millions of people. And history already sees that many people are alive today thanks to those experiments. So if you come and claim, don't be cruel to the animal, the answer would be, so what's better, to be cruel to people? What's the alternative? The debate between animals and people come first. You understand? If someone murder a dog or murder a cat for no reason, for fun, the Torah did not give him a punishment of execution. He's a wicked person, he's a cruel person, no question about that, but there's no execution. But if you murder a human being, there's execution to death. So you see, based on the punishment, what's considered a bigger crime. I enjoy go fishing, but I don't eat this fish. Either it's not kosher or whatever, or I don't even like fish, but I enjoy the action, catching them in my, fishing rod and all this. Is this considered cruelty, or since it's my hobby, it's fun, it's nice, it's allowed?
If you don't eat it, let the fish go and enjoy that you caught the fish. And then it's not going to be cruelty.
The answer, it's cruelty. You cannot claim that you have a need for it. If a person says, I need drugs, so what do you say? Okay, you convinced us, it's a need. Okay, in that case, it's kosher. No. We don't care what you claim you have a need or not. We claim what the world justifies as a need. Kids, like before I say, kids need to play, they need to run, they need to do something. That's their toys, fine, it has a need. Doing experiments on the animals saves life. It's a need. Catching fish and killing them, or even torturing them by taking them a minute out of the water and until you take it out and throw them down, they have a horrible panic. Think about it, it's like blocking a person's nose and mouth for a minute or two, and he doesn't know if you leave or you let him die. This panic that he's going to have can give him a heart attack. And by the way, animals also die from heart attack. We had a guy in Muncie that was a Baal Tshuva, and all his life he grew up in Israel with animals. He had parrots, he had all kinds of birds, he has, different dogs, horses. And some kids love animals more than others. One day he came to the yeshiva in Muncie and he saw that the deers are walking around. And then he learned that the deer is a kosher animal. So he decided to catch a deer and do a real kosher shchita and make the whole yeshiva eat deer, because how many chances a person has in his life to eat deer meat? He wants to go to Manhattan, there's a restaurant to serve deer meat, $300 a plate. That was 20 years ago.
They call it Venice.
Huh?
Call it Venice, not deer.
They don't call it deer meat? No. They don't want the name to scare people, no? They found a nice name. Everything is marketing in this life. Depending how you market the product. Today they found a trick, all from natural ingredients. Cocaine is also natural ingredients. Heroin, all these things. A lot of these things has natural ingredients, but it kills people. Natural ingredients. Not everything natural is good. Sugar is also natural and it kills. Anyway, so we move on. Is there any obligation, a mitzvah? With the deer, it confused me. With the deer, he caught the deer, he caught him, and he put him in a car, and after 5 minutes, the deer died from heart attack. How did he know that the deer would get a heart attack? Obviously, it was something that he couldn't know. And that was the end of it. So, okay, anyway, by the way, it's legal here in New York. From time to time in the summer, I see people that have deers on the roof of their car. They go hunting upstate, they hunt them, They drive right by the police over there.
You have to get a license.
Get a license to kill. With Obama's stamp on it. No problem. No problem. You know, okay, now, so next question is, it says, are we have an obligation to save animals that got wounded and they suffer? That's not my problem now. America, time, it's money. I have time now for this cat now, to go waste time, take him to a veterinary to save his life. Also, it's going to cost me money. Do I have an obligation or no? If you own it, then there's no question. You have to feed it before you feed your own children and yourself. But just in nature. You saw, I don't know, an eagle attacked one squirrel and he's half dead. Like, maybe you can save his life. Do you have an obligation to do it or no?
No, you don't have obligation.
If it's owned by another Jew, then there is an obligation when the animal of your Jewish brother suffer, you have to participate in the efforts of taking the suffering away from the animal. Where we learned it from? The donkey that collapsed from the weight. The Torah say, if you see the donkey of your... Yeah, the donkey collapsed from the weight. Azov ta'azov imo, the Torah say. You have to help him. From here we learn that it's also mitzvah to help spare the suffering of other private animals. In nature, you are not God. You cannot run the world and fix the world, obviously. It's not realistic to demand this from people. But if you did, I would consider an act of kindness, chesed. Even for an animal in nature, it's considered chesed. Why? If you have mercy on animal, needless to say, you will have mercy on people. But it's not always work, these rules. Why? When the Nazis put the Jewish babies in the gas chambers, they had very big mercies for the dogs, but didn't have mercy for these babies. So it doesn't mean necessarily if you have mercy on animal, you also have mercy on people, but that's the way it's supposed to work at least. The next thing is, we're allowed to kill animals that disturb, they're not a life risk, but like flies, mosquitoes, they make noise, they run around, you know, ants, they walk. Are you allowed to put spray, exterminate them, or you live with the suffering of having them around? The answer, allowed. 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 I know. Not only there, every place they have nemalim. There is any olam haba for animals. The animals have world to come when they died or no?
No.
One woman was arguing with me in emails for maybe 3 or 4 days back and forth to try to convince me that her dog is in heaven. After 3 days, I got the point that when people make up their mind, it's not always possible to change their mind. I say animals don't have heaven. No, but my dog was really tzaddik.
Yeah, but you have to ask you what mitzvot.
So I said, I'm sure your dog was bigger tzaddik than some of the people I know, but it still doesn't have heaven. The Gemara says clearly, the Gemara says animals that don't have free choice, they don't have reward and punishment, come and see how much they suffer sometimes in this world. So it's needless to say how much the wicked people will suffer because they choose to do bad. The animal didn't do anything bad. But when a person does something bad, when he chooses to hurt others, it's needless to say the suffering he will get for his actions. When the animals are innocent, they walk by nature, they suffer tremendously. And people, it's needless to say. Next question, are we allowed to let our children play with the impure animal?
No.
Pure animals meaning cow, calf, sheep, things like that. Impure could be pig, horse, monkey, lots of animals that are not kosher. I want my little kids to play with them. Allowed or not allowed? The answer, allowed. The Gemara says in their days they used to play with non-kosher grasshoppers. There used to be kosher grasshoppers, and there are some who are not kosher. The kids today, if you tell them play with the grasshoppers, they call 911 on you. But in the old days, you know what the kids used to play with? There was no Toys R Us around. So when they chopped the head of the chicken, when they slaughtered the chicken, they chopped the head off. They gave the chicken's head with the beak to the kids, and they played with that. They cleaned the blood, they washed everything, and the kids used to play. Their toys was the head of the chicken, believe it or not. The Gemara asked in Masechet Shabbat, someone who chopped the head of the chicken, not because he wanted to kill the chicken, because he wants his kid to have a toy now in Shabbat, to be quiet. He's crying non-stop, he's annoying. How will I make the kid stop? He's crying, he wants the head of the chicken. He has nothing to play with. His friend, the neighbor has, and he doesn't have. Now, you know, in Shabbat, you're not allowed to kill animals. So the Gemara say, we have a rule in Shabbat. When you do something, it's a violation of Shabbat, you have to have in mind that this is what you really want to do. If you did it accidentally, it's already lowering it from the Oraita to the Rabbanan. It becomes a rabbinical violation. Why? Because you didn't have in mind to do this transaction. So the Gemara say, over here, this person has no intention to kill the rooster or the chicken. He wants him to live, but he wants his head for his kid to play with. If there was a way to do both of them at the same time, of course he would rather that he live. Let me borrow your head for an hour and I'll bring it back. Don't move. If there was a way, everyone would do it. No one would want to kill him. So since he has no intention to kill him and is not interested in his death, the opposite. I'm losing $15. It has a value, this chicken, no? Once you chop the head off, it's become nevela. You did not do shchita, right? If you do shchita, that's for eating. That's, of course, it's not allowed in Shabbat. Yom Tov, it's allowed. But Shabbat is not allowed. But if I only want to chop his head because I want the kid to have a toy, is this a violation of Shabbat or no? The Gemara asks.
For the toy?
The Gemara say, Pasik Rashe velo yamut. You're going to chop his head and he won't die. Since it's obvious that that's what's going to happen, even if you did not have that original intention, since it's obvious that it will happen, always, not sometimes yes, sometimes no, always he will die, then it's a violation of Shabbat. Which means if most of the time he won't die, but here and there he will, that's a different story already. That's a different level. But over here, since it's Pasik Rashe means chopped his head off, velo yamut, and he won't die, of course he'll die. So it's obvious that he's going to kill him, and he's not allowed to do it on Shabbat. Over here, the intention is getting overruled by the reality that we know in advance that is about to happen. Are we allowed to raise in their house impure animal? Chimpanzee in a cage, snakes in aquarium, all kinds of other.
Not recommended, but not prohibited.
Asur. If somebody has a cat, it's a dog.
But you see that people have cats. The answer is only if it's animals that are not eaten by people. Which means chimpanzee, we don't eat. So we don't have a fear that one day someone will kill him and eat him. Same thing, snakes. But in China, this rule doesn't apply. In China, you come, the snake is not in the aquarium. In Japan, you have a dog. Somebody from Japan came. The dog is gone. I mean, the monkey, they eat the brain with a spoon. So there are countries that no matter what kind of pet you have, it's life risk. You leave the house and come back. In Israel, when they brought the Thailandi workers, half of the dogs disappeared in a month.
The cats also.
The cats also. They eat them. They catch them and eat them. Now,
So one second, to clarify the point, to have a cat is awesome.
so I'm saying, we the Jews, I'm talking even the secular Jews who do not keep kosher. Do they eat dogs and cats? The answer is no. Do they eat snakes? The answer is no. Do they eat monkeys? The answer is no. Do they eat horses? The answer is no. Animals that can be eaten is forbidden to raise in a house. That's why we don't raise pigs. Why? People eat pork. Animals that are ready to be sold in a market, that people have a habit to buy their meat, and it's not kosher, we're not allowed to raise. Animals that nobody eats, there's always a crazy person that will eat everything from curiosity. We're not talking about individual here. We're talking in general. Then we can raise them as a pet. Next thing, next question. Am I allowed to put something like temptation, a trap, to a thief to attract him to come to steal it by placing a camera over there to see if he's the thief or not? I'll give you an example. Person suspects that one of his workers is a thief. So on purpose he leaves the register open with the money in, and he pretends he goes outside, but he has a place that he picks and he sees what he does. And then he comes and he takes $100 and puts it in his pocket. And he jumped. Oh, I just caught you. I put $1,800 bills. Now I bet you there is 17. Oh, here you go. Here is the 100 in your pocket. And the serial number of the 100, he wrote it down already, the top one. He wrote it down and he said, this is the number, so you cannot tell me it was yours when you came to work. Now he got him. He got him. Why not? It's mitzvah to get rid of the thief, no? Supposed to protect yourself. The answer is, we are not the FBI. That's what the FBI does. The FBI comes and put all kinds of tricks to convince people to commit a crime, and then they go and catch them and destroy their life. That's not the job of the authorities. The authorities have to protect the society from criminals, but not to create criminals or to increase the level of the existing criminals. That's not what the Torah allowed. The Torah said the opposite: help the criminal to overcome his problem. You don't help it by putting it in front of him and give him the desire to steal. Exactly. If you know your friend is trying to stop being an alcoholic, you don't put a good whiskey there on the table when he comes. You put it, you ruin his effort. You become a part of the crime. Why? Because you just actually pushed him back. Same thing with the smoker. You know your friend stopped smoking, don't call him, let's go out on a deck. While he's smoking and he's dying to smoke, you call him in once, twice, 3 times. The 4th time he will also smoke. So what do? You tell him, wait here, I'll be right back. You go, you smoke your cigarette. Hopefully you'll be clever to stop also. And when you want to take him out, you take him out without smoking. Why? All these things now. Now, however, there is one thing, there's not one way to do it. What is it? A person put the money there and he declare in front of 2 people, I make this money hefker, which means it's like property of the public to the whole world except you two. Why? Because they grab it right away. Hefker? Okay, it's not stealing. To the whole world except you. Why I'm doing it? I want to know if this guy will steal or not. Now, when the guy stole it, even though he had intention to steal, reality-wise, he did not steal. Why? It's like finding it on the street. He may get punished for his intention if he constantly repeats it, but if you did it, if you made it hefker, then you did not make him a violator of the law of stealing. He did not steal because it was permitted to take. The only reason it's allowed because you have the right to get rid of a hazard and a danger that you have in your business. This person can put you out of business. You have to find the danger, and you're allowed to protect yourself. Just for fun, you're not allowed. If it's not your money or not your property, not your business, you want to make experiments, it's not allowed. Even to make him take hefker, it's not allowed. Something that can be fixed. For in other words, you give your phone to a store to fix. They tell you, come tomorrow, it'll be ready. In the middle of the night, somebody broke the glass and robbed the store and stole your phone. Do they have to pay you for your phone? Or since they are bringing the police and the police confirmed that it was breaking in, then it's your tough luck.
Yeah.
They stole from you, not from him. The answer is, since you are paying for the service, they have to pay you for brand new full phone. If they can replace it for a used one in the same level, they can do it. You cannot force them to get you brand new. But if they gave you a replacement for what you have, they obligate to do it, whether they like it or not. Yeah. However, if it's your friend, and he said, bring it in, I'll fix it for free for you. And then someone broke in and stole it, he doesn't have to pay you for the phone. Why? Because he volunteered to do a service to you free. But once you pay him even $1, that makes him obligated to watch it and to be responsible for robberies. It's called, like you say, shomer sachar. What happened if the store called you, your phone is ready, you can come take it now, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., and you only came the next day? You could have come today, they already told you it's ready, but the second night, someone broke in and stole it. Now they're not obligated. From the moment they told you your phone is ready, come pick it up, after that, I hate this stand there, unbelievable.
What about those signs that says we're not responsible for any of these lost items?
If the agreement was obvious that you give it to them knowing that they're not taking on themselves any responsibility, they clean. But who would agree such a thing? Who would agree such a thing?
The valet is the
That's why I try never to give valet to touch the car. What do you know? It may steal something from inside the hood and you never know. Parts that he knows that the car would still drive a week or two. How do you know? Do you know you can trust anyone today? Today, you cannot trust you cannot trust doctors to go into surgeries. They steal organs from the body. They fix one part and they steal the kidney in the same operation, and they sell the kidney in a black market for $150,000.
Where? What country?
All over the world, even in Israel, they do that. Yes. So now that's why if you can put a witness to be on guard over there, you have to do it. I think that in some places they make a camera to film the entire procedure because of things like that. Also, they steal organs from bodies. But the pathological, what do you call it? After people die, they make autopsy, you know, to the non-religious people. By religious people, there's no autopsy. So after someone died, when they make an autopsy, they steal parts of the body. They steal bones, they steal other things, and they put instead pieces of wood inside, and they sew the body. There's a famous professor in Israel, hundreds of times he got caught stealing parts from bodies.
What do they need
and he still walks free.
What do they need the bones for?
No, they need it. They need it for, obviously, for implants. They take organs from the dead people without permission of the family.
Organs, yes, but bones also.
Even bones, if there's broken bones, sometimes they replace. They do things. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what they do. But he got caught so many times stealing things.
But they kicked him out in the end.
No, but they brought him back. They can't. He's over the law, this guy. He does whatever he wants. And for whatever reason, the government does nothing to him. The court, the police, here and there, they give him a little fine. He does whatever he wants. My guess is the reason he's above the law is because probably no one is in his level of detecting the cause of the crime. Remember, the police needs them. The police, you're moving the camera. The police needs their specialty because based on the autopsy, they can tell you if it was a murder, or it was drowning, or it was, they know the cause of the death, which could be critical to know who's the murderer, or if there is a murderer. I guess that he brings them more good than bad, so they close their eyes for his crimes. And obviously, it's obvious that that he takes advantage on his status to do whatever he can. Now, next question. When I went to a wedding, people serve wine and bottles of whiskey, and the wedding is over. There's leftover on the table. Am I allowed to take it home with me?
You know, they are.
Well, obviously, the owner of the whiskey can take it home. We don't need to ask this.
You are only allowed to.
But the question is, now, once he served it to me on the table, obviously he had in mind that nothing will come back to him. He's Yehush, he gave it up as a gift. It's actually the same question is me going to his home, and he gives me 2 apples and a plate, and I eat one, and one I put in my pocket for the way. Do I need to ask him permission to take that, or it's considered?
Absolutely must.
So in that case, what's the difference between the wine and the whiskey and the apple?
Whiskey they're not used.
Yes,
They
that's
know
permission.
that we sell that.
You must ask permission.
He's giving you to eat in the house or by the silk.
Without the permission, you cannot take it. Only with the permission.
The answer is you need to ask permission to take. But you also have to ask permission not in front of people. Why? If you do it in front of people, you don't need to. He obviously would say yes. He's embarrassed from the people. What he's going to say? No, 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 don't touch. When I was a kid, I used to go to my family in one city in Israel, and they had a family from their father's side. They were my family from the mothers, but from their father's side, they had a different family. And that family, the wife there was so stingy that nobody ever saw a person that is so stingy than this woman. So one time my cousins went to her house. They were telling a joke. They said, we went there, we opened the fridge, and there was 1 pear. So we say, can we take the pear? Can we eat the pear? She said, no! She screamed, don't touch the pear! The pear belongs to Sarale! 1 pear. Go buy the vegetable. They have guests. The pear belongs to my daughter. For years they're making fun how she kept that. Nothing. They come with another glass of water she gives. Why is it? There are people like that. Next question. If somebody offers me merchandise and I see that it's much lower than the price, there is a suspicion that this person stole it or is trading with stolen goods. Am I allowed to buy it or no?
Then he's going to steal more. He's going to buy more stolen.
Even if he doesn't buy it, he's not allowed, because you are participating in his crime.
The answer is, buying from the thief is a very big sin. Why? Because it's making him continue with his crimes and actually enforce him or encourage him to steal new things, because it pays, he comes, he gets cash.
But you're not showing me.
However, there's sometimes cases that people sell things for very cheap because they're tired of waiting, right? So if there is no way to prove, you're allowed to buy it. But if you see somebody on the street comes to you with a bracelet, hey brother, not like this. No. From the brothers? No. From the brothers, no. Not only that, there is a bigger question than that. Somebody comes to you with feeling. Hey, yo, I have something for you. Hey, you Jew boy, come here. He takes it out of his jacket. You like it, right? You see tefillin, worth $1,000. How much? $200. A good deal, no? You're allowed or you're not allowed to buy from him? Now there's a dilemma here. If you buy it from him, right away we'll run and steal a few more from the shul. That's where he stole it. People leave their tefillin in the shul. If you don't buy it from him, everyone will tell him, no, we're not allowed to buy. Or put it in a garbage. the name of Hashem will be thrown with the garbage. And then they grind it or burn it. They burn the garbage. So this is a catch-22 here.
Take the tefillin and kick him in the ass, and that's it.
So the answer is, if you're really strong and he's a weak person, you have to grab it from his hand and say, you're not getting it. You make another beep, I call the police. And if he starts a fight, you give him 2 in his face and you send him to the opposite side of heaven. That's one thing. And that's a very big mitzvah. Or what happens if he's a gorilla? Comes like this. Hey, you look at you down. You look up and it's feeling.
Then you can talk about your imunah and still do the same thing.
We leave it to you to do.
When you go to Manhattan sometimes, and you see all these watches going so cheap.
No, that's imitation. That's imitation. No, that's not real one. That's imitation of expensive watches made in China, made in Beijing.
Some of them are so expensive.
No, they look exactly real, but they only work for a month if you're lucky.
My son bought a Sefer Torah in Spain in the market. They were selling it, putting it on the floor, selling it, said they couldn't, he had to buy it. It wasn't complete Sefer Torah. It wasn't complete one. What I think is they go to the great Jewish graves and they know that they bury Sefer Torah and they take it. So it was part of Sefer Torah.
Well, if they bury Sefer Torah, that means it wasn't a kosher Sefer Torah and there was no way to fix it. If there's a way to fix Sefer Torah, you fix it. Plus, to buy Sefer Torah from an anonymous source, it's a very foolish thing to do. Why?
Can you see Sefer Torah?
Because you cannot use it. What happened if a Reformed Jew wrote it? It's not kosher. What happened if Muhammad wrote it? It's not kosher. What happened?
And every Simchat Torah he dances with it. He put cover for it.
How can you prove?
You can dance in Simchat Torah with this one also. It's not a sin.
Well, how can you
It's
prove?
no problem.
Maybe it was the site for their own.
Next, shh. Sefer Torah that Apikos wrote, mitzvah to burn it. Shh. There's no kedusha in it. In Israel, they have tefillin and mezuzot that comes to the market. Israeli girls from the university, they have good hands, graphic, and they write, and they sell it for very cheap to make a living, to pay for their school, and somehow it makes it into the market. That's why the last thing you want to do ever is to buy tefillin and mezuzot in stores. You have to be very careful not to buy in Judaica stores. Very, very careful. If it's a place of tefillin and mezuzot, which they check there, they do nothing else, no Judaica, but they write it over there and they know the sofer, it's a different story. In stores in general, it's not good to buy for few reasons. Why? You pay almost double. For instance, I give you just an example. I bring tefillin, top of the top of the top, with all the extra special. Price of it is $780. It's $1,600 in a store. Same tefillin, same level, $1,600. Why? Store has to make money. They have rent, they have employees, they have all kinds of things. You go directly to the sofer and you buy large quantity, you first get a special price and you sell it and everyone is happy. The people who buys it pay half a price. Sometimes a person has 4 or 5 kids, bar mitzvah, bar mitzvah, bar mitzvah. It's thousands of dollars different. Same thing mezuzot. Half a price. Sefer Torah, half a price. Everything half a price. Plus, here you know 1,000,000%. It's the highest level and you know the source, who the sofer is. We know him, we investigate, we check him, how much Torah he knows, what he does, mikveh, no mikveh. You know, a person who connects to Torah, he has a certificate, he knows all the halachot, he does all the extra, then you know. But when you buy in a store, the owner of the store in most cases doesn't even know who the sofer is, never saw his face. He doesn't know. Somebody tells him, here, this is what you buy, he looks at that and he buys it, just like jewelry. But in jewelry, it doesn't matter who made the diamond, who cut it. Doesn't matter, Israeli, Persian, Arab, doesn't matter. Diamond is diamond. There's no holiness in it. But when you buy things like this, got to be very, very careful. Otherwise, you pay fortune, and it's not even kosher. Yeah.
Jewish girl likes mezuzah.
it's not the best, but you'll have to eat.
First of all, no, it's not kosher. Second of all is that someone was mechalel Shabbat, and so already automatically no kedusha in it. Mechalel Shabbat, don't ever forget, הרי הוא כגוי לכל דבר. Is we are considering him 100% a non-Jew. Mechalel Shabbat. So therefore, everything he does, there's no kedusha in it, no holiness in it. Now, so we have to be very careful. Next thing, shh. So the answer is, with the tefillin. So the guy is now with the tefillin. So it happens in Monsey. One rabbi came out of the shul, and one of the brothers came, and he offered him tefillin. So he said, okay, let me see. He opened it up. He wanted first to see. When he saw inside, he said, hey, well, it's missing. One is missing. said, so what do you mean? That's what I got. He said to him, look, you see this you put on the head. He puts it on his head. You see this you put on this hand. And the one that you put on the right hand is missing. Nobody will give you nothing for it. Even $5 you cannot get for it. So he said, all right, give me the $5. They gave him $5 and he saved the tefillin. Now this brother will think a million times before. He's going to check, you see too. At least he saved the tefillin. Really, in reality, it's a very hard question to answer, to buy it from him or not to buy it from him. But I said, if you can grab it from him by force, this is what you have to do. So now, next thing. Am I allowed to park for free in a parking lot of a store, knowing I'm going to buy in that store, but then there is 2 more stores next to it, which I'm going to go right in the neighborhood? Am I allowed to stay parked in the parking lot of the first store? Or once I came out of the store, I'm obligated right away to move my car? Why? It may be preventing from new customers to get the spot and he lose business because of me. You understand the question or no?
Jewish owner?
In stealing, there's no difference, Jewish or not. We're not allowed to steal from Goyim. Not allowed. So the question is, we allowed or not allowed?
If you ask.
You have to move the car. Why? The Yetzer Hara doesn't let to the
I have 0. Please borrow me there for the...
Grab him by the ear and move him, please.
I cannot, because listen.
Unbelievable. There is anything like that, stealing time of sleep from another person? Person is sleeping now and you make noise and wake him up. Or you wake him up to ask him a question. Or you make noise and he cannot fall asleep. So now instead of sleeping the 6 hours that he needs to be refreshed tomorrow at work or in yeshiva, because of you, tomorrow he'll be tired, and it's considered gezel shena. Gezel shena. Stealing his sleep away from him. Is this allowed? I mean, is there is a source that it's stealing, or people made it up? Because sometimes people make up things. Gezel shena. There is any source to it? The answer, ve'ahavta lereacha kamocha. That's the violation. You have to love everyone like you love yourself. There's another violation here. Lo tonu ish et amito. Lo tonu ish et amito. Next thing. Someone who asked me to wake him up. Is that considered gezel shena or no? Or I should ask the question better. Someone who doesn't care when you wake him up. Whenever you wake him up, you wake him up. You wake him up now at 5 in the morning, so he gets up already, get dressed, and go to shul. If you won't wake him up, he'll sleep until 7. He's the type of person who doesn't make a big deal. Is this still a problem or no? Or after all, I made him pray earlier, which is a bigger mitzvah. You be tzaddik on your own. Don't run the life for other people. If you know that his time is minyan 7 or 7:15, don't steal his sleeping away from him. Next, let's see. An old person that I'm taking care of him. He wants me to write that I gave him longer treatment, that he can get more money from the insurance. The doctor or physical therapist or psychologist, whatever the case is, babysitter. Is it allowed to do it or no? He is stealing from the insurance, there's no question here. But are you allowed? You say, I don't care about the insurance, what do I care? He wants me to say that I gave him treatment 10 hours instead of 8. Okay, let it be. What do I care? Whatever he wants to do with that, that's his problem.
You are an accessory conspiracy. Obviously, you are the same part of
the answer, you become a part of the crime. But what happened if this old man is clever? He doesn't mention anything about insurance. He said, I want you to write that I was here today 6 hours instead of 2. Why? For shlom bayit reasons.
Yeah, what are you born yet?
Now it's mitzvah already, because you're allowed to lie for shlom bayit. Are you obligated to investigate further, or you believe him and give it to him and the rest is not your problem?
No, you have to investigate.
Very good point, no? I have to go into his mind and make phone calls and ask him, prove to me that shlom bayit. What's the case? Give me more details. Or, my friend, I'm not a detective. I'm not Sherlock Holmes. He told me shlom bayit, give me, I gave him. No, what do you think?
You must check, because you were not born yesterday, so you must check, you have to understand, it's still in your capability to understand, and you must not allow it. Otherwise, you're going to bring you 300 reasons, and you're going to play like you don't understand. That's why you have the brain.
The answer is, if it can be verified easy, you have an obligation to verify. If you have to go out of your way, that's not your obligation. That's his problem from now on. Next question. My friend got away by cheating the government for millions of dollars. And the government dropped the case against him because they could not find enough evidence to prosecute him. But I know that he stole the money. Now he makes a big seudah meal to invite all the relatives to thank Hashem that he's not going to jail. Am I allowed to participate, or it's Chilul Hashem? This is, by the way, a very, very, very difficult question.
It's not.
Very difficult question, and I tell you why. On the first second, you ask, of course not, ma. You participate in a party of a crime? Someone makes a crime, a party that he's a good, successful criminal and he didn't get caught? But on the other hand, when a person did not pay enough taxes, according to the Torah, he has to go to jail?
We're not living by the Torah. We're living by the laws of the country.
Right. No, but
this is the also Torah.
Wait. So now the question is, the law of the state say yes, he may have to go. But remember, the law, what we call Dina de Malchuta, the law of the states, we are obligated to respect it and go by it as long as it does not contradict the laws of God. If the laws of the state contradict the laws of God, we are not allowed to obey the laws of the state. If the law of the state say that men can marry men, and it's perfectly legal, we have to scream and even to die for it, to go against this Chilul Hashem. If the law of the state, when they try to do in Israel now that it's illegal to learn Torah, we have to give our life to protect the Torah, just like it was in the time of the Romans, and Rabbi Akiva gave his life for it. So the laws of the state is not something holy. It's something that the Torah told us to listen to, in one condition, that it doesn't come on my expense. Same thing, kabed et avicha ve'et imecha, respect your father and mother. Ani Hashem. What does it have to do now with the verse? Respect your father and mother, I am your God. You told me 500 times you my God already in the Torah. Why you have to push it now between my father and my mother? The answer, if your father and mother dare to tell you something to do against my Torah, you not have allowed to listen to them. Not? It doesn't consider you don't respect them. If you listen to them, that's a sign you don't respect them. Why? If you love them, you want them to get a huge punishment for me? No. So why you listen to them that they'll get punished? If your father say to you, buy me this drug, and you know it's going to kill him tomorrow, but he wants it now. He's screaming, he's crying, get it for me. You're not going to get it for him. You lock him in a room. They say, what kind of a son is this? He locks his father in his room. What a cruel guy. That's not a cruel guy. That's a very good son. He doesn't want his father to die tomorrow, so he does everything to save him. A doctor that gives his patient a smack to knock him out because he wants to die. He wants to kill himself, and he has a razor. He wants to cut his whatever. So the doctor hit him. And they say, what kind of a doctor is this? Abuse his patients. No, that's a very good doctor. It's not my problem. Okay, I pretend I have a phone call. Okay, no, you have 2 minutes. Do it until I come. Doctor's job is to save life, whether they're on a job, whether they're in a shift, whether they're on a plane, whether they're in a park, or in the middle of their dreams when they get a call. That's life. Next thing.
So what about the answer? Allowed to participate in the party? Answer is no.
Oh, so the problem over here now is like this. If the government would catch him and make him pay, for instance, double of what he stole, that's comply with the rules of the Torah. No, so at least the law, it did not get more punishment than what he deserved. But if the government put him 20 years in prison, that's way more than Hashem wants him to get. So now he has a reason to celebrate that he's not going to jail.
The question is a party.
The answer is, I don't know the answer.
I know the answer. The answer is not allowed. And the why? Because if he just make a party, or you just can tell the government where to find the evidence, no way. You're not allowed to give a tip to the government for your Jewish brother.
Right.
But the party is the pure Hilul Hashem. Not only he knows he is guilty, now he is bringing Hashem as the reason who saved him from this crime, and doing it in front of other people, and you know that you participating in that. I think it's nothing worse than that. That's the lowest level of Hilul Hashem. Nothing gets below than that. Nothing. It's a spit on the face of Hashem, saying, hey, okay, let's make another party, knowing that nothing to do with Hashem.
Well done.
Yeah, be careful, I have a group of support here.
Your Russian friend didn't come.
I have my own group of support. It's much stronger than that. And this is my Alam Haba.
Am I allowed to charge my cellular in public places?
No.
Like you now came to the shul, your phone is dying, you plug it in.
Yes, permission from the
The answer, yes.
Yeah, peanut.
It doesn't even cost a cent all day. It doesn't take any electric. So there's something that nobody would care about.
Only from the shul?
Even from anywhere.
But you still have to ask.
You don't have to ask. Anything that has a value, you have to ask. Something that doesn't have a value, you don't have to ask. Next. Next thing. When we write in a store $5.99 instead of $6, is that considered deceiving the mind of the people or no? The American style. Everything 99. The answer is no deceiving, because every fool knows that the price is $6. And no one has intention to wait for the change, the penny, when he gave 6. He's going to wait until he's going to open the register to give him a penny. People walk, if they're normal. When I go to the hotel, I like to get a good deal. When they don't give me a good deal, I take a good deal on my own by taking a towel. I'm thinking the hotel already take into consideration that everyone takes at least one towel, and they build it into the price. That's why it's not stealing. They build it into the price.
No, you're not allowed.
Allowed or no?
Without the permission, you're not allowed. You were renting the room, you were not...
Do you know anyone who will dare to come to the hotel? Excuse me, I want to take the towel with me home.
Me. Not only the towel, I asked them for the brand new robe to give it to me as a memory for the hotel. Brand new. Not the old one, the one
Rob?
sealed.
No, that's you probably went to a big, expensive hotel. Rob, that means $1,000 a night. We are talking about...
No, 300.
We're talking about simple people here now, you know. Rob, that's a different story.
They will give me two. I don't have a place to carry them.
The answer is not allowed. What about the soap and the shampoos? They gave you few, you use one, and two are left, and you like it, you want to take.
Because they already give it out.
As many as you want.
You use them.
I have a question. Before we say that someone gives you 2 apples, you have to ask permission to take. He gives you to use right now. You use what you use, the rest you don't take with you. You have to ask permission. Why over here, you're right, you're allowed to take the shampoo. But why?
Because they're giving it to you for use.
Because it's complimentary.
Because over here, it's built into the price. When they give you the price of the room, they already calculated that they're giving you 2 shampoos and 2 soaps, whatever the things. They're already calculating all their expenses, and then they decide. But towel, it's something that they know return back to the laundry room. They're not billing it into the price. My wife asked, she borrowed the car of my parents and she made a scratch on it, you know, while she was parking. She's so embarrassed because my father is a very demanding person. Am I allowed to say that I did it to create peace between them and her?
Not only you allowed, you are obliged to do so because you can use the family.
I tell you, next Tuesday you're taking over. That's it. Why I drive 2.5 hours to get here? You already know all the answer. This guy 3 months Baal Tshuva already Rabbi.
And because you really like me up there with my 95%, it was the wrong start.
Yeah, the answer is mitzvah to do so. Mitzvah to do so. Not only allowed, mitzvah to do so. Can we use a report by lie detector in a court to make a verdict against the defendant?
No way.
According to the Torah or no?
No way.
The answer, we have to disregard it completely, not to take it into consideration even by 1%. Why? People that are not guilty, found guilty in a lie detector, or the other way around. There are people who trick the machine easily. They know the trick, right? They bite something or they press on something. There's all kinds of tricks to trick the machine. So we cannot rely on a machine.
So why allow lie detectors?
I want to make, lie detector is by the Goyim and by the Chilonim, not in a Beit Din. Next question, I want to make a party to my parents, but I want it to be a surprise party, therefore I have to make some kinds of lies for them not to find out what I'm doing. Ask me, why are you doing this? Why are you going to the store? Why all of a sudden you go, why are you making so many phone calls? What are you going to say? I'm inviting all your friends? But after all, it's lying. And the Torah said to stay away from lies. Torah say to lie for the sake of peace or to prevent war. But the Torah did not say to lie in order for you to benefit another person. Or maybe yes. What do you think?
If you're not harming the person by...
The answer is allowed. Why? You benefit them. They'll be very happy and excited from the party. I have a question for you. Reuven wants to give donation to his friend Shimon knowing he's poor. But Shimon is such a tzaddik that he doesn't want to accept these donations. He does not want to accept it. Therefore, he decided to steal from Shimon something and get caught. And now he has to pay him double in Beit Din. And the only reason he did it, because now he has to give him $1,000 for Yom Tov. And he even brings the witnesses to be around when the time he does it. Allowed or not allowed?
Allowed just to give you
No, this is not the way to do it. Not allowed.
Now, if you think it's mitzvah abba be'avera, you're wrong. Why? The avera it's now, the mitzvah it's tomorrow. It has to be at the same time. So the avera it's today, and the mitzvah it's tomorrow. It's not at the same time. So that's not mitzvah abba be'avera. But the answer is, right now it's avera. Who gave you permission to do avera? As soon as I say avera, the water went all over. No, it's okay, it's okay. I have my time. So the answer is, not allowed. Not allowed. Why? A person is not allowed to be wicked even 1 minute. Who's to say you leave tomorrow? You stole it and you die. And you're coming in front of Hashem, you have $1,000 of this poor man in your hand, and no one would ever return it to him. And what about the pain and the aggravation? Plus, until tomorrow he will die from heartache, the poor man. Somebody stole 1,000 from him. Until the witnesses come, it takes an hour or two, no? So the answer is not allowed. Next question. I work in a business that my boss constantly wants me to lie to the customers. Don't tell them this, don't tell them about the hidden fees, don't do this, don't do that. If I won't do what my boss tells me, he will fire me. If he will fire me, other sales rep that would come will do what he wants. So the customer, one way or the other, would lose all the tricks that my boss does. So based on that, am I allowed or not?
Mind your own business and take care of your own life. You're not allowed to lie. Other people, this is their business. You, a servant of Hashem, you're not allowed.
The answer, not allowed. Next Tuesday, 5 to 9. You be here, I'll show you. Sit, not here, sit over there. Yeah. Now, shh, now, listen, not allowed. And if he fires you, he fires you. But what happened? You cannot pay the mortgage.
Hashem will take care.
And they'll take away your home. And you won't be able to put the children in yeshiva. There's a lot to lose here. The answer is, we don't do this kind of calculation. Right now, this moment, I have permission to do the sin? No. I am allowed to deceive customers? No. Am I allowed to deceive Muhammad, the customer? No. Am I allowed to deceive Chris? No. I'm not allowed, but I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get fired from this Hamas terrorist because I didn't want to trick him and I had to tell him the hidden fees and I tricked him. Let him die, he's a terrorist. The Torah says you're not allowed to steal from the goyim, even if they're terrorists. You're allowed to kill them if they're terrorists, mitzvah to kill them, but you cannot steal from them. Not stealing from them, it's not for them, it's for you. You are in my image. You cannot be the opposite of me. I'm not a thief, I'm not a deceiver, I'm not a liar. But I kill people when they deserve it. That's why you're allowed to kill him. Why? Because if you don't kill him, he'll kill your children right now. And we see it every day. Am I allowed to lie when, if I want, I'm going to have a huge embarrassment? Not for the sake of peace, to avoid embarrassment. Or I have to take the embarrassment of a part of my tshuva and live with that.
If this is only you, take the embarrassment. If it's your family...
The answer, yes. Allowed. Allowed. Why? Because embarrassment is the biggest punishment that a person can get. I'm taking Ritalin. And people ask me, whoa, you became very, calm recently. You're not as hyper. Are you taking the Ritalin that person suggested you to take? You don't want to tell them yes. Or they ask you about your son or whatever. Are you allowed to lie? The answer, yes. Allowed to prevent embarrassment to you and to the kid. Even though today it's not an embarrassment anymore because 90% of the people in the world are already taking it. You know the story with Yaakov and the Rebbe, no? Huh? Yeah. You know the story with Yaakov and the Rebbe?
Yeah, the wrong one is taking the Rabbi. Yeah. Rabbi is taking the Rabbi, not the student.
Huh? You heard the story or no? He'll tell you after the lecture the story. He can tell you. He knows all the lectures by heart. You'll be my Google. When people ask me, where is this? I'll send them to you. Now, next question.
Interesting question, Rabbi, seriously.
A driver is jeopardizing traffic, carrying, and they have, like a school bus. If you have something to report, call. Now, if you call, he may lose his job. But he's jeopardizing people on the road. Are you allowed to call and report him, or to call the police and give the plate number about him, or no?
You're risking the life of everybody in the bus.
The answer, yes. You have to look at the sake of other innocent people that may die because of him. It's pikuach nefesh, yes, allowed. I went in a cab and the driver drove 80 miles an hour when it's only allowed 55. Am I allowed to report him even though I was very happy that he drives so fast and I made it home very fast? Am I allowed to report him? The question gets even better. I myself drive 90. So can I report him that he drives 80? Or since I'm a criminal just as much as him, what's the point?
No, you're not.
Or it has nothing to do one with the other. You're a criminal, but you don't want to report yourself. Fine. But he's a criminal, and reporting him is the right thing to do. There's no hypocrisy here.
No, in this case, you're not reporting.
I have news for you. People who drive slow jeopardize people's life much more than people that drive fast. I promise you that's the case. People that drive slow and they hold traffic, they are the ones who cause the accidents. In Germany, people have no speed limit and there's less accidents than New York. Check.
I'm saying, anybody that goes 80 or 90 miles an hour is not a danger?
Not with the cars that we have today. When you have all these Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, Toyotas, Nissan, you drive 80, it looks like you're standing in your place. They have a smooth drive, they're very stable. In Germany, they drive 120. Zooming, 400 kilometers an hour, there are trains who drive. Depend on the road, of course, the condition of the road. There's lights, no rain, it's straight. Yeah, depend, obviously. But today they make the laws in traffic only for one reason, to take money from the people, to rob you. The authorities are the biggest robbers. They make laws 40 miles an hour, 6 lanes, you're alone on the way, 40, 50, 55. You're going crazy. So what am I doing? I run faster already. Why they do it? Not only that, they have certain areas that for 10 miles they lower the speed by 10. But nobody has in mind that in the middle of the highway when everything looks the same, all of it, and right there the police is waiting. Is that fair? Why are they doing it? Because they are the biggest crooks. And that goes all the way, the corruption, all the way to the president. Everyone enjoying it. $1 billion a month, and another billion, and another billion. They have X amount of taxes. They cannot make more and more. I mean, there's a limit that people will make riots. So they take it in a different way. They really care about the safety of the people. Look around. Look in Garden State Parkway. 60. It used to be 55 until a few years ago. Garden State Parkway, now it's 65. 55 in 5-6 lanes like this, it's a crime. Even 90 years old drive faster than that. When they have 3 pairs of glasses, one on top of the other. That's my opinion. You don't have to agree with that.
Drinking, and if he's drinking alcohol or texting or talking on the phone, he's not a report.
Same thing, same violation. In Canada, it's allowed to text and drive. So one person killed someone, and the first thing in his trial, I think it's in Canada, because I travel, I sometimes get confused. But they told me, do you hear about this case? This person's father got killed. Someone hit him. He was crossing on a sidewalk, and a car came and killed him on the spot. And as soon as the trial began, the person say, I was texting, and I had to let him go right away. Can you believe such laws? I believe it was in Canada. If not, forgive me. I believe it was there. In Toronto, at least. Next thing. Next. Person is tired. Is he allowed to get on a wheel and drive? He does many other things when he's tired. He works, he serves customers.
Yeah, but he's not
He cooks food. He types, he checks the test of his students.
He's not endangering anybody's life. Well, sure. But he's driving. Yeah.
I work 16-hour shifts.
Do you know how many of the pilots of the airlines fly sometimes without sleeping at night? They get on a flight and they fall asleep while they're flying. You know the truck drivers? The truck drivers, you know how much sleep they sometimes skip?
Well, that's automatic pilot.
Automatic pilots still need a pilot.
They're having that in cars now.
The answer is, if you're just a little tired normally, which you function like this every day, fine. But if you're overtired, like really, really tired, you're not allowed to get on a wheel. I'm standing by the street and there's red light. I'm a pedestrian. And there's no cars at all. And what, I'm going to stand like a fool a minute until it becomes green? So I want to cross. Time is money. It's America. If there are cars, I understand. I obey the rules. But then, 2 o'clock at night, no cars. You look around, nothing for miles. Imagine stand like this.
In Belgium, you stayed like that.
In Belgium, I was walking in Antwerp. We're walking there on Shabbat. Nobody there. And everybody stands like this. The question is this an obligation or no? If there's no cars around.
It's a chok in the dinner. It's a chok in the dinner. You have to keep it. Does it say whether there's traffic coming or not? When the light is red, you have to stop. Am I right or wrong? I don't get an answer from you.
I got to tell you something. Let's put it that way. If there is nobody watching you, you're alone, and no cars over there, and you cross, is this a violation? There's no chilul Hashem, no nothing. No danger, no risk. Nobody gets scared. Even if a policeman saw you from far away,
It's irrelevant.
he understands. Oh.
Halacha you can't play around with.
Halacha of Hashem, you're right.
That's right.
But on other halacha, that's a question now. I don't know. Maybe you still have to stand, even though there's no point here.
Keep the laws of the land.
Good question. Good. It's a good point.
It doesn't say walk or don't walk. They just show you a picture.
Now, shh. When I get on a ride, hitchhike, and someone gives me a ride, by religious areas, this is very common. People put their hands and people stop. If you get on the car, are you allowed to use your phone inside someone's car or no? Not allowed. So why it happens to me all the time? Hey, listen! Sell the stocks, I told you. Excuse me, I'm trying to hear the GPS. Mom! Scream! Now all of a sudden, you taxi driver. Be quiet 10 minutes until you get off and you talk. But what's the worst thing? That they see that you're standing before they get, and obviously they don't go in a car with a cigarette, but they're also too cheap to throw the cigarette. So they stand another 10 seconds making you wait. And then comes inside and blow all the smoke in your face. And now the car stinks for a week. Maybe it's doubling your reward. When you do chesed, it has to hurt. It's a real sacrifice. Or when they close the door, next day you have to go to the collision. The door fell off. The whole car is shaking. You know why he's walking. He's hinting to me it's time to go home already. Right? But you don't know one thing. The more you hint, the more you stay. Over there, go in the end. There's a clock right there. Ah, summer vacation.
Today was the last day.
Ah. Next, I go to pick up people who hitchhike by the bus stop. Is that considered stealing from the bus company or no? They're waiting for a bus.
What
You're not
did they
stealing
say?
anything.
Huh?
You're not stealing anything.
They're waiting to get a bus. The bus is behind me. I come, I pass the bus, I come, I get two guys to come. The bus just lost $5.
Yeah, but bus doesn't force anyone to go, right?
Yeah, no.
But they were about to get, it's like standing by someone's business and you're about to walk in to buy a tie and he comes with his bag right by the tie store. Look, same one for less. And you sell it. Allowed or not allowed? By the store it's not allowed, right? Yored לאומנות חברו, it's called. But why by the bus it would be allowed? Good questions, no? These things happen every day. Look how many questions, how many violations a person can do, and it never even occurred to them that it's a sin from the Torah.
The person, did he see this bus coming after him before he took those passengers, or he didn't know when the bus is going to come?
Let's say the bus is behind.
The bus is behind?
Yeah. I know you have a good point. Why? If the bus is not there, who's to say the bus would even come?
Maybe it will come in 20
It'll come in another hour. What? Maybe he'll give up. Maybe we'll get a cab anyway in the end.
Maybe it's going to be packed over there in the bus.
The answer is Kol HaKodem Zocheh.
Allowed.
First one who get the business, get the business. And over here it's chesed, it's allowed. What happened now if there is a line? You know, like when they hitchhike, there's a line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone gets a number. And now you come, and the fifth one is your personal friend. You don't know 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's the fifth one on the line. So you say to them, I'm sorry, he's my friend. I want to take him with me. Is it fair? Is it violation of you? Or his violation because he's cutting the line? Or when there's friends, there's no such thing lines. I have the right to take whoever I want.
If your duty to take the first one in the line, you must take the first one regardless of the friendship.
No.
You lost your job.
No, I don't think so.
That's it. Next week,
If this is your job,
I'll find somebody else for next
if
week.
this is your job to pick up the passengers.
It's my job, my friend. I saw my friend in a thing.
this is your job.
They tell me who to take in my ride. I don't want you. I want to take him in my car.
You're driving a private car. You don't drive a taxi cab, or you don't drive a...
Private.
Private. Private, you can take the last one, or the nice girl. Nice girl
I
take...
tell you, it's very impressive how you came out of it. Very impressive.
I know this from
That's
my
a very good skill of a speaker.
I know this from my rabbi.
Now, when I get a ride with someone and I want to listen to something in my headphones, but there's a chance that he will talk to me and I won't be able to answer, is that rude? Or I'm allowed to do it? What do you say?
You're going to threaten me with my job.
Look how you make the people happy. You make last Tuesday was very dry here.
The most important thing is your kids are more happy with me.
Yeah. The answer is, it's not his business. You're not interfere with himself. You didn't get on a ride to be a companion to him. He gives you a ride. That's the chesed. You want to listen to Torah in your headphones. But it will be very polite to tell him, with your permission, I want to listen to a lecture in my headphones. If you don't mind, usually they say, of course. And like this, everyone is happy. If I got on a ride and the driver drives like a lunatic, and I want him to stop that I can get off because I'm worried, Is it embarrassing him? Is this being ungrateful? After all, he's doing me a chesed, he's picking me up. He already agreed to take me all the way home, which is a little bit off his way. But he drives Hashem Yerachem. But what? The answer is you have to get off the ride. The question is how to get off the ride. So tell him, I'm sorry, you're driving like, too fast for me, too dangerous. Please let me off.
I'm about to vomit.
Please let me off. Or you have to make an excuse. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot something. Can you stop here for me? I forgot something. I have to go back. There's only one problem. He may be too generous. He make a U-turn and say, let me take you back. I tell you what happened to my friend this last week. He drove in Monsey and he saw a Chassid, shy, and he stopped and he was listening to a Torah lecture by a rabbi from Israel, very good rabbi. As soon as the Chassid, it was a Satmer, Neturei Karta probably, he got on the car. As soon as he heard Hebrew in the car, he was going like this and saying all kinds of words. Maybe he was praying not to hear. Then after a minute, stop the car. We got out like this. No, thank you, no nothing. What? Tzioini. Can't even hear the Hebrew that they speak. Happens. You come, you want to give a guy a ride. This is what you get. The answer is, you can make an excuse because after all, you're going to offend him. But on the other hand, maybe it's in a nice way to tell him, sir, thank you very much for the ride. I really appreciate it. But you're driving a little bit too fast for me and I'm scared. Maybe he will say, oh, no problem. I'm sorry. I will drive slow. I think, that's not what he says here, but that's my answer. I think it's better like this. Always the truth wins, almost always. If he doesn't win right now, he wins in the long run. But for sure, always the truth will win. The question if he will win right now or not, in this case, I believe yes. What's on the bus now? Am I allowed to eat in the bus? I'm late to yeshiva and I won't have time to eat. And I have a sandwich. Usually I get to the yeshiva, I wash, I sit, I eat, I make Birkat Hamazon, and I go to learn. Now I know I'm not going to be able to, and I don't want to wait until 1:30. So I want to eat on a bus. Few problems. Right now there's no water for netilat yadayim. Second, is it polite to eat in public? Everyone see the tchina and the hummus dripping on your beard.
Not allowed.
Maybe it's Chilul Hashem. Excuse me, Rabbi. Let's take one at a time. Let's say the bus is empty, so there's no one watching, but there's no water for bread. What do?
You hold it with napkin.
You hold it with napkin. You don't touch the bread with your hands. So one problem you solve. Now there are people there. Allowed or not? The answer is, the Gemara say, Talmid Chacham, what we call today a rabbi, cannot eat in public in front of people. Why? Animals eat in public. It's something not respectful. You can eat in public as long as according to the laws of the place. People sit in a restaurant, everyone has his table. That's not considered public. It's in public, but everyone has his own territory. But standing in the street with your falafel, walking like this with your jeans and sandals in Israel, with your ponytail and 2 earrings over here and everything is dripping, and then you go like this and you throw the napkin on the floor, someone sees it. If you have earrings and ponytail, he gets angry. But if you have a beard and a yarmulke, what a speech you're going to get. Shame on you. You're religious? You should behave. You should be a human being first. It's a big responsibility. Answer, better not to eat in front of people. You want to eat, hide somewhere. You cannot hide. Come to the yeshiva. Better you eat while you're learning to eat as you started the shiur, if it's possible, than to eat on a bus in front of the people. Am I allowed to get on a bus knowing the bus got on his tour on Shabbat? It's common in Israel. They're not supposed to, but they want to save time. So they start 10 minutes before Shabbat is over, or 15 minutes before. The Chiloni gets on a bus and he starts his tour. He's tired of waiting, sitting in a car, waiting. He has to, but he gets on a bus. Now, by the time he got to me, half an hour after, it's already 20 minutes after Shabbat. But I know he started the ride on Shabbat. He would not get to me in the next 20 minutes unless if he started the ride on Shabbat. So I'm actually enjoying from a violation of a Jew on Shabbat, which is against the law. Not allowed to enjoy from any violation of a Jew on Shabbat. But in this case, is that considered that I'm right now enjoying from violation on Shabbat because when I got on a bus, it wasn't Shabbat, and what he did before Shabbat, it's his problem, or since I would not benefit now without the violation of Shabbat, is considered that I'm enjoying retroactive of the sin of Shabbat. It's
No problem.
Clever question.
No problem. You can get on the bus. It doesn't matter what he did before for you.
what did Beshe say?
You get on the bus, there's no problem.
I was thinking to reinstate your job, but that's it. Maybe you need another year. The answer is not allowed. Why? Because this is a pure pleasure from violation of a Jew on Shabbat, which is forbidden.
How many minutes after sunset you have to wait?
20 minutes, as long as it took from where he started the ride until to you. In other words, let me give you an example. Let's say Shabbat comes out at 8. And then when he gets on the ride, 8:01, until he gets to where you are, should be 8:20, right? 8:21, 20 minutes. If you see now you got off from your house and you're 8:05 in a station, knowing he's going to come at 8:20 and he arrived at 8:06, you know that he started the ride on Shabbat. Then you're not allowed to get on. But if he came any time after 8:20, even though he started on Shabbat, but he had unexpected traffic, I don't know, accident, the police closed the road, that's not my job to ask him what time you left. Remember, only when it's obvious. Why it's not my job? Why? I can tell, excuse me, what time you started your ride? He doesn't care about me. He'll tell me. He's not embarrassed to be Mechalel Shabbat. He does it in his own life. He tells me, I left 7:45. Why not to ask him? The answer is because it's not a violation from the Torah. It's Isur de Rabbanan. Safek de Rabbanan lekula. You don't have to run and clarify things. But if it was the Oraita, then you had to ask him. You're right. And then
I have to wait another
to the next bus.
Another hour?
Even
What
5.
if this is the last bus?
Even 5 hours.
What if it's the last bus? What if I have the...
There's one old man in Israel, I'll tell you a true story. One time he got on a bus, and he drove in the bus a long, long time, and he got to where he was supposed to. And then he saw that the driver gave him more change. So he stood there over there in the station hours until the driver went another whole round, and when he saw him, to give him back the money. When you have Yirat Shamayim, time is not an essence, you know. That's it. You have Yirat Shamayim, you don't want to take someone else's money. When people pray in a microphone, like in weddings and conventions, you are far away. Without the microphone, you would not hear the Chazan. Is that considered a kosher prayer or no?
You cannot say amen to
They
that.
pray with a microphone.
To the microphone, you cannot say amen. You cannot say amen only to the
You can only answer amen if you would hear the person also without the microphone. Even if not so clear, even if not so clear, even if it's not so clear and now you hear it a lot more clearer. But if you do not hear him at all, you're standing half a mile away and without the microphone you wouldn't know. You can see him from far. Then you cannot answer amen. Why? Because the voice that you hear on the microphone is not his voice. It goes into the system, and the system transmits it to electric, and by the time it gets to the speaker, it's been transmitted again to voice. But it's actually not his original voice, and plus there is always a slight of a delay, like in a phone. When someone make a bracha on a phone, he's in Israel and you're in America, and you hear now, Baruch Atah Hashem Shakol Niyah Dvaro, you're not allowed to answer Amen. Why? It's not his real voice, and maybe it was 5 seconds ago. Yes?
Yeah, I disagree with what the rabbi says. 2 reasons. One, Kol Isha. There's only one posek that I know that that permits a man to listen to a woman's voice over a recording, and that's Brisker Roth. That's all. Nobody else. Everybody says Kol Isha on a recording is Kol Isha, and it's forbidden.
Different reason. I'm sorry.
Well, the second thing is...
Wait. Before we go to the second, you made one mistake. You have a very good point, but the point is based on mistake that you made. Kol Isha is different reason. It's Irurei Avera. It's different reason. Even though right now it's not the original voice of the Isha, it's recording, or you hear it on a phone, or in a microphone, or whatever, it brings a person Irurim, and therefore it's a sin from the Torah that anything that brings Irurim, whether it's a voice or picture or anything like that, is not permitted. Regardless if it's the real voice, or it was made by electronic, or whatever, it's for different reasons. We are now talking about tefillah. Tefillah, when you pray, nothing to do with the Irurei Avera here.
This Kinus Tefillah in Israel, a few months ago, I think it was right around Purim, before or after, 600,000 people came. Everybody was saying Amen. Everybody was answering.
But in a stadium, let me tell you, in a stadium or in a closed place, even without the microphone, if you would scream, they will hear him. Not so loud, very little. They will hear him in a closed place, in a closed area. Voice travel very far. It can travel very far. Even.
My son was in Israel, and there was no way he could have heard it without a microphone because it wasn't in the stadium.
All right, so.
They were standing up on their mirpesset over there.
Are you asking what the people did or what the law is?
What the law is? How could
the law is.
The
law. I'm telling you what the law is. The law is you can only answer on the original words that comes from a person's mouth. If not, you're not allowed to answer. It's called Amen Yetoma. There's all kinds of problems with that. Now, shh. When we go, you know, you have to learn one thing in general. You don't ask questions from what people do. Because many times people do the opposite of what the law is. You don't ask. You don't bring proofs from what people do on the street. Unless if it's a big chacham, someone that himself is a teacher that teach halacha, and you saw him doing it, then you can bring it as a proof to the point. But what you see the ordinary people doing, it doesn't matter.
I'm not being focused on that, but this kinus, I mean, the Badatz was there, and Rabbi Kanievsky was there, and who else? I mean, all the Rabbanim from the Shas were there, and they were answering Amen. I mean, my son was standing there.
I have a doubt if they answer Amen on something they heard on a microphone. Maybe the people answer. I tell you what the halacha is, and it's, by the way, not something Ashkenazi, Sfaradi. It's according to all opinions.
I understand that.
All right.
This is the common rule.
Microphone is not a real voice.
Yes, and it considers in halacha, it even says explanation. Microphone is compared to the radio and saying, if you can take it as a radio, it's like we'll be saying Amen to the radio, which nobody will do. So microphone you never allow.
Yes. Now, one more thing. By the way, in those conventions, usually a lot of people say the Kaddish together. So you're really answering to people around you. That's what's really happening here. Because many people answer together Kaddish. When they say Kaddish in those conventions, even if you would not hear the voice of the person who speaks in a microphone, but there is 1,500 other people who say Kaddish. Every few steps, somebody's screaming Kaddish. All you need is to hear one of them, and then you answer on him, even though you hear on a microphone someone else's voice. So that could be the answer to your question. The Arvit, you yourself say the brachot. You pray with him. So, okay. Now, shh. Now, shh. I sent a box with my friend on a bus to deliver it for me, and he forgot it on a bus. Does he have to pay me for the value of the package or no? but he left it on a bus. Shomer Chinam is only patur if he was not violating the rules of keeping. But leaving it on a bus is negligence. Does he have to pay or no?
He was doing a mitzvah, he's not obliged to pay you. If he would be hired by you for the money to carry, then he has to pay you. Because he left, maybe just because he forgot, he doesn't have to pay you.
So it's very interesting because over here he says it's anus and patur. I don't know where he got it from. What anus? What kind of anus he is? I ask you to take something. If you left it and neglected it and forgot it, you're a criminal.
Maybe it's a big package, you know, you have to put it underneath, so therefore when
You see, the book agrees with me. See, so I get a next job I got to get from the author of this book, okay?
Now, next. Time is running out. We're almost done, 3 minutes. Now, now. An old man see that the bus is full. All seats are taken. But he gets on the bus anyway. And now he will obligate somebody to get up and give him the place to sit. So obviously he's doing something not proper. It's taking advantage on other people. Since he did something not proper, am I still obligated to get up and give him my seat? Or you did that, you're taking advantage on us every day, you stand and you learn the lesson. And tomorrow you only get on a bus that have seats.
No, you still must give your seat to the old man.
He did something not proper by bothering people, but we're still obligated from the Torah to respect it. Slowly. Now, now, I have a special card that I paid in advance for 20 rides. Every ride, the driver make a hole. In Israel, that's how it goes. Or when I was there, that's how it used to go. And now I lost it. And I know I have for sure 7 rides left on it. But I lost it. Am I allowed to sneak in 7 times on a bus since I already paid them?
Someone else will give you 7 rides.
No, because they can catch you.
Someone else will give you the 7 rides. How can I use
it? You hear what he said? Beautiful answer. Someone that would find it will actually use the 7 rides. So now somebody, that's my negligence. Why you lost it?
Nobody finds it.
But I'm going to make the questions better. I did not lose it. I put it in the laundry and my wife put it in a machine. And now it came flat white. So no one will use it. Am I allowed now? I paid you.
No, you're not allowed.
He said, the driver will tell me, I'm sorry. Or you expect me to believe you? Of course he won't believe me.
No.
But I'm going to get from the back door 7 times and get what I deserve.
No, you're not allowed to enforce your...
Technically, it's allowed. The problem is the Chilul Hashem.
Isn't that Gazela?
No, you paid for it. How can it be Gzela? You paid the company the money. You're not going for free. The problem is the Chilul Hashem. People would think you sneak in. And that's a problem. That's a problem.
You can scream in front of yourself. I lost the car. Don't worry, I paid for that. Call my wife. She will tell you.
A woman and her husband sitting on a bus, and the wife is tired. She wants to put her head on her husband's shoulder and fall asleep. Is she allowed, or in public there's no relationship in public?
Sleep allowed.
To sleep on her husband's shoulder.
Sleep when she's tired, allowed. 1 or 2 years. She wants to sleep.
Your suspension extended by another year now.
No, allowed.
The Shulchan Aruch Kuf Yud Aleph says, לא מתנהגים בחיבה ברבים. Chiba means showing, what's the right word for chiba? Affection, that's the right word. another minute and a half. Please try to be quiet. No, it's a minute and a half to finish the introduction. Then the lecture will begin.
Rabbi, kids want to go home.
I'm making him nervous a little bit. Now,
No, I'm only upset that they're not going to become rabbis because of that.
now, I went to the bus, and the driver, people confused him, and he held my card, was about to do a hole. Someone started to talk to him, and he thought he did. He gave it back to me, and I saw he did not make a hole. What happened? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to do a hole in it? Or next time I come, I give it to him. It's your problem.
You're supposed to make a hole, ask him to make
The answer, you have to make a hole yourself. But it's much better, at the time, in front of everyone, make sure you take your yarmulke out of your pocket. The yarmulke that you use in Birkat Hamazon. I usually take it out, put it on, and say, excuse me, Mr. Driver, you forgot to do it. And everyone looks, and they all clap. Wow, Baruch Hashem, this tzaddikim. And you get Kiddush Hashem, which worth much more than the ride. Next. I saw 2 kids sneak into the bus without paying. What am I supposed to do? They're less than bar mitzvah, younger.
You should talk to them, Frank.
You have to run to those kids and tell them, if you're not going to pay, I will report you to the driver.
If the driver go in,
And it's about time you do tshuva and stop being a thief. That's what you have to do. Last question for today. Today I'm keeping my word, a minute and a half. So the last question for today. Someone that goes on public transportation on Tisha B'Av when you're not allowed to sit on a chair. You have to sit on the floor until the day after midday, which is 1 o'clock in the summer. Now at 9 o'clock in the morning, you get on a bus. You're allowed to sit, or you have to stand the whole ride since you're not allowed to sit on a chair? The answer is you're allowed to sit on the
F. On your F.
suspension for lifetime.
I want to hear your answer.
It's not Russia here.
What are you allowed to say?
You sit. It's enough. You don't have to say on what.
Right.
The answer is no. What do you say? Allowed or not allowed? The answer is allowed to sit. Who said that you're allowed to sit? Rav Eliashiv. Why? It's safe. When you stand, you stop, you can fall. There's a higher risk. It's not that you sit in your couch at home and enjoy. You sit because it's safer. You hold, something happened.
So I was right, on air.
Almost. Be'ezrat Hashem, we will next week, Be'ezrat Hashem, we will speak about damages. You rip someone's clothes, you make dirt in the neighborhood, arguments between neighbors, insurance money, books, curses, borrowing, sick people, windows when people complain that they're cold or hot, who do you go by? Some laws of Lashon Hara. Secular people versus religious people when it comes to Lashon Hara. A little bit Ayin Hara. Gossip between husband and wife, permitted or not. Lashon Hara about politicians, making flyers against politicians. The sins in the Tanakh, if they fall in a category of Lashon Hara or not. Lawsuits in secular court. learning in colleges certain things permitted or not. This will be next lecture, Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen v'Amen.